Welcome everybody, anybody, and all those who decide to listen to us talk sports and rant and rave about nothingness at times. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast on December the 23rd, 2024. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to those who celebrate. Have a great week to those who don't. I'm GB. I got Brian and Coop with me. What's up, family?
Once again. All right.
Man, back at it. Oh, I need to change that background because I am not in San Jose. Shout out to Sagtown in the 916. I'll do that over time, so don't trip out off the change up. So we're talking NC2A football. We're talking some QBs because I've been going in on quarterbacks the last few weeks. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, especially as we near the playoffs. And then so we'll do that, and we'll talk about the NFL last week or this past week, including the game tonight, as well as this upcoming week. So let's start. We kind of wanted to mix it up. We're gonna NFL, NC2A, NFL, but Coop had this thought, which we thought was pretty fun to talk about, was current QBs who we think may make the Hall of Fame. So Coop, you're just gonna draw some divisions and take it away.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw us 8 divisions, man. We'll just go real quick because I mean, there's not a lot of Hall of Fame quarterbacks playing, if we're honest with ourselves. So let's start with the NFC West, Brian. You got the Rams, Seattle, Arizona, San Francisco. Any Hall of Fame quarterbacks there besides San Francisco?
Oh yes, Steve. I think Steve Young and Joe Montana are in there. Yeah, you do have quarterbacks who have made it.
Young? I think Stafford makes it. So here's the thing about the Hall of Fame for me. I always try to remember it's the Hall of Fame. It is not the best players. It's not the an award for being great. It's the Hall of Fame. It's put up big numbers and attract a lot of attention, which Stafford has done consistently throughout his career. And so I think he gets there. Do I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? Hell no. But I think he probably gets in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and you, our sentiments on Hall of Fames across all sports is the same. It's, you like to jokingly call it the Hall of Good. Not very really good, the Hall of Fame. So, or very good. Yeah. So I'm with you. It's just Matt Stafford in this division. I know there are a lot of people who don't like Matt Stafford. That's why he was called Pat Stafford when he was with the Detroit Lions, just puts up a bunch of stats, but really didn't do anything. He was the number 1 high school player coming out and number 1 college pick for a reason. He's extremely talented. I've always liked Matt Stafford. He got a chance to prove his talent when he went to the Rams and got with a real organization at that time because the Lions were still kind of wacky. Sure. But he got with a good coach as well. People thought I was crazy taking him against Tampa Bay both times in the regular season and in the playoffs. He beat them both times. They won the Super Bowl. Fortunately, beat my team to get there, but they won the Super Bowl and well deserved for him. So I definitely think because of that run with the Rams, he gets in. If it was just Detroit, I'd probably say no, but with the Rams, yeah. So he's in the Hall of Fame.
I heard one of the things I heard was someone said, I wish I knew because I like to give people credit, but they said the Hall of Fame should represent players you can't tell the story of the NFL without.
True. Yeah.
So I do think,
and that's definitely true.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Stafford's
that.
That's one of those a different guys level, which is not.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
Stafford
always.
would not make it in that instance.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't be there. Correct.
I think, he's not. Yeah, I probably agree with that, but I could see why he would make it because he did have the numbers. He did win the Super Bowl. And
I think being with the Rams put him in. Be honest with you, if he was with Detroit, I don't think he gets in.
So people won't forget him. Yeah, but I'm with you. If he didn't make it, you would not be surprised.
No, not at all. Okay, so we'll move to the NFC South. You got Atlanta, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina. Anybody, Brian?
Next.
All right, moving on.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Cousins' numbers are going to be as good as Stafford's. He should absolutely not make the Hall of Fame.
He doesn't have the wins. Yeah,
that's a good point.
But his numbers are going to make it a conversation.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that happens with a lot of players.
I'm just acknowledging that. I am not representing that as my own opinion. There is no one, but Kirk Cousins will be a conversation because his numbers are extremely, good.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. Yeah. Sometimes people are in conversation just because of their numbers, but they're not necessarily that type of caliber.
He won't make it.
Yeah. So I don't think he'll make it either. So Glenn, no Derek Carr, huh? You out?
Next.
No Derek Carr?
Coop,
okay.
Don't do that.
Next.
That's my guy for next.
All right. So we got the East. We got the NFC East. We got Philly, Washington as a rookie, Dallas, Dak, Giants. They have nobody. So
next.
It's out of Philly and Dak.
Next.
Anybody?
So I think we have to acknowledge that that Jalen Hurts is not who I would put in the Hall of Fame, but he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory given numbers, Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl wins.
I agree to that. He didn't win.
Well, he's saying he could be.
If he wins, I agree. I wouldn't put him in, but I agree to that.
He's on a trajectory that puts him in play.
Well, okay, yeah, I agree to that. Okay, and then so we're good on that. And then lastly, we got the NFC North. We got Detroit, we got Goff, we got Darnold, we got Love still early, we got Caleb still early. So
nope.
Yeah, all the young guys I'm not even going to talk about, and Goff is a no.
Okay, all right.
Next.
I'll put it this way: Goff is a no, minus them winning a Super Bowl or two, which would change that trajectory.
I would think he needs two. Yeah,
it's got to be two.
Yeah, it can't be one.
A Super Bowl or two. Yeah,
but it's got to be two.
And that's what it would take, because he started off as a hot, player, but he just blew up in LA. In Detroit, he's played well. He's put up good numbers, but it's the middle of his career, and it's hard to come back from that hole.
Yeah. Their team is ill too.
Minus a Super Bowl or two.
Two.
All right.
Next.
Interesting on this one. So I'm gonna start with the AFC South, Brian. You got CJ, you got Anthony Richardson, that's a no. You got Trevor Lawrence, a hell no, and Levis shouldn't be playing. So it's just pretty much CJ Stroud. Okay, all right.
It's on. And this is not to say CJ Stroud can't do great things.
Right,
it's just he's in year two. So let's
no
need to even speculate on what.
And this year is
6 through
kind
7.
of I would say a slump a little bit than last year. Okay, so then we go. This is gonna be easy. AFC West. You got Mahomes, Herbert. You got Bo Nix. That's Glenn's favorite quarterback, and you got whoever the Raiders are putting out there.
Bo Jackson was my favorite player. Yes.
Bo Jackson was the man.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mahomes is a first ballot lock. So
100%.
That part's a given.
Yeah. A little tidbit. My favorite Raider player ever is Marcus Allen. He was my favorite Raider player.
I got that
jersey.
Love
Marcus Allen.
I got that jersey for sure.
All right, AFC East. We got Allen, Tua, your boy Rodgers, and too early for New England.
Rodgers definitely.
I hate Rodgers, but there's no denying that he will get in.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: why is it that everyone he's a first ballot lock? I acknowledge that. I understand that.
Yeah,
he should be.
I disagree with that. He shouldn't be. How many Super Bowls does he have? Why is Goff one 2 and he only got one?
Because Aaron Rodgers,
I'll tell you why.
He threw for a whole bunch of crazy numbers.
But you can't tell the story of the Packers those years without Rodgers, and he took over after Favre.
The most important part of his job was that he took over for Brett Favre.
Yeah, but Brian,
mainstay in the league, though.
But here's why. I agree with a lot of what you said, but here's why he's first ballot. He has the highest touchdown interception ratio in the history of NFL.
Not by the time he gets finished, he's throwing more touchdowns to the other team this season than he is his own.
Well, when him getting
he keeps on pressing. It's like Justin Tucker, man. He was going to go down as the greatest kicker in history with the greatest.
He's been missing,
but not after the season.
He's been missing.
Rodgers. 100%.
Rodgers is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but that man gets credit for shit that he has not done. He was the reason that team was losing several of those years where they made it to the playoffs and just didn't do it. He could not come back from anything. Sure. If he was down in the first quarter, it was a wrap for those games. His ability to be resilient was horrible.
Yeah, his fourth quarter
he's only got one Super Bowl win, and everybody else we're talking about is going to have more or need more in order to get in.
Yeah, his fourth quarter being behind record is absolutely dreadful. It's dreadful. Yes.
Rodgers filthy, though.
But I do think he gets there.
He was not filthy. He's filthy horrible.
No, Rodgers was nice for a lot of years.
No, he really wasn't. And the way you know it is even the Jets right now were better without him.
Yeah, that's the end.
Devontae Adams went other places and was good. Rodgers has never been that guy. He's a front runner.
A knock on Rodgers is though he was.
I've watched every one of his games.
He was never a good playoff quarterback. Yeah, never a good player. But also, so I got Allen because I think he's the best combination of runner and thrower.
Of course.
Yeah, he could probably get there.
So I would put Allen in on this. He's the only quarterback.
He's another one of those with Hall of Fame trajectory. He's 100% on the right trajectory to get there. I don't think he needs to win a Super Bowl. I don't think some of these players need to win a Super Bowl. But he consistently keeps on playing like he's playing this season. There's no reason to argue that he isn't on a trajectory to get there.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is the only quarterback ever who was wildly inaccurate in college, went to the NFL, played in
his
a pro
first year.
style system, and got more accurate. That does not happen with any quarterback. Never.
His
Yeah.
rookie year, he was awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
I drafted him as a best ball quarterback because you knew he was going to chuck it, and there was only 1 point interceptions, and he was great for best ball. And then he turned into probably one of the most dynamic quarterbacks.
I mean, he's a lot more accurate than he was in college. That just does not happen. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, I think he gets in. Now I'm gonna deviate on this one. I'm gonna start this one off in the AFC North because there's one team who is not going to have a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's Cleveland. But there's also, in my opinion, Brian and Glenn, there's a for sure. There's a could be with a caveat, and then there's a people think he is, but I'm not so sure. The one
I think I can guess,
but not so sure is Russell Wilson. And the reason why it's Russell Wilson is because
you surprised me.
A lot of people don't put him up there because they think it's a defensive-led team. A lot of people say that was a defensive-led Seattle team. Even though my argument for him would be, well, they didn't get to that point until he got to that team. Because remember, Marshawn Lynch ran for that. They were like 6-8 or so, 8-8 or something or that year, and they lost the next game against whoever they played against when he ran against the Saints. It wasn't until they got Russell Wilson that they ascended a little bit, higher and got to the Super Bowl. And they do knock him for that interception that he threw at the 1 yard line. Like, yes, Pete Carroll or whoever caught that play, but he still threw the ball. So, and how he's played the last couple of years. I mean, I guess you can look at his numbers and say whatever, but it's not the same Russell Wilson. It's not the same dynamic player, not the same person who could sort of take over the game or make that dynamic play outside the pocket like he used to do. Can't do that anymore. That's not who he is. And so I think that's a knock against him, and I'm not so sure that he gets in. Now, the player in the division that could possibly get in, but there's a caveat, is Joe Burrow. And the reason why is because he gets hurt a lot. It seems like he plays a season and then he gets hurt next season. He plays a season and gets hurt next season. I think he has to stay healthy for him to get the Hall of Fame. Not saying it's out of reach, but I think he has to stay healthy. And the person who I think definitely gets in is Lamar Jackson, because you cannot tell, like you said, Glenn, you cannot tell the story of the NFL without a player like Lamar Jackson, because there's never been a quarterback like him. He plays the quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl, and I don't know if he's ever going to win a Super Bowl, but the way he plays the position for how long he has played it, I mean, I'm sorry, nobody's ever played the position like that, like him. He's dynamic. He's a great runner, and he's the only person in people in the NFL game plan to stop him running, and they still can't do it. Still can't after all these years.
NFC teams can't beat him.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the NFC team, right? NFC teams can't beat him. It's like you can't simulate a Lamar Jackson in practice. You just can't. You can't simulate that speed, his elusiveness. He has an arm. He can throw it deep too. You just can't simulate that. And Lamar Jackson definitely should be a person. When you talk about history of quarterbacks in the NFL, you got to put him in there.
What a Christmas miracle!
Oh, you hella funny.
Damn.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
the standards,
I agree.
The standards.
No, hey, Pete. Let my cousin live, man. Don't.
Ain't no standard. Just tell it like it is. Ain't no standard,
man. Let him live. Wow, you surprised me, bro. I thought it was gonna flip. I thought Russell was the
standards.
That's crazy.
Anyways, Lamar's a definite in my world. He's literally having the best year of his career this year, after coming off the MVP year last year, and he's not even really being considered. He'll probably be second to Allen. But anyways, he's definitely in. I think Burrow, like I was saying earlier, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. If he has these years where he is throwing touchdowns, 3 and 4 game, and consistently continues to do that when he's healthy, he'll still get in. It would be great to be able to see him go deep into playoffs. I think people want to see that. It would obviously help if he stayed healthy.
Happened once.
If he gets in, but if he gets in, they go.
If he continues to do what he's doing right now, I think he's on a trajectory to get in. I think Russell Wilson is in. I just think that's reality. I'm not going to get into whether or not I think he should, but he's got Super Bowl wins. He's got great numbers. He's now got the advantage of, statistically, last year he played really well. Sean Payton and him didn't get along, and he got shipped. But statistically, if you look at his numbers, and his numbers last year were really good. Again, and he came in this year in the middle of the season, and his numbers when he got in were significantly better than Justin Fields, who was also winning and playing well because it's a 10-win team. But anyways, I think I think at least two, probably all three of those folks get in.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson will get in too, but I've heard the arguments against him, and I don't really disagree. So if he gets in or not, it wouldn't bother me. But yeah, I'm with you on that though. I think he gets in.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all the divisions?
That's it.
We got one more.
That's all divisions. Okay. That's it.
Solid. I agree. I think Russell and Lamar will get in. Joe, if he keeps playing like he's playing,
Joe has outdueled Mahomes in the playoffs and and so is Allen. So that helps.
He's cooking, bro.
You got to beat Mahomes in the playoffs for that extra consideration. And both of them, those guys. His
team, their defense hasn't been great, but he's been playing.
No, but this year, the defense sucks
all year.
So for a future week, we should rank our top 5, 7, whatever the number is, of the first through third year quarterbacks. Like, where do we feel on the young quarterbacks? Not talking about Hall of Fame, but I want to see. I'm curious where we put them, because that could change a lot over the course of the next few years, and I'd just like us to be able to.
Yeah, I think it could change.
Out there.
I think a caveat to that is it can also change based on schedule, because you get that harder schedule now second year.
No, I said, what do you think of the quarterback? I didn't say what their win-loss records were going to be. I said, what do you think of quarterback?
Right, but I'm saying when they play against tougher teams with tougher schedule, they don't do as well. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Caleb ain't going to be crap whether he's on no matter what schedule he gets. He's going to get a last place schedule next year, and he's still going to be garbage next year.
Damn, I thought you liked Caleb. That's crazy.
I think he's supremely talented. I also think that he is so arrogant that he can't get out of his own way.
Man, that talent's
going to go to waste.
There's
plenty of talented players who come in.
Yeah.
And then they turn into Baker Mayfield, who had some of those same issues and is now playing
very solid,
extremely well.
He's playing solid now, yeah.
But that's because he came in the league, was arrogant, kind of had some issues.
He got to get humbled.
Yeah, but he's turned it around.
People forget he went to Carolina. Yeah, he went to Carolina first.
He needs to finish getting kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
So let's go to NC2A.
Yeah.
Give me the breakdowns.
Bowl games. First bowl game. I guess we could start with Indiana Notre Dame. I'm gonna give my game ball out right now.
All the games.
And I'm gonna give my game ball out to the coach Marcus Freeman. Coaching, being a black man coaching Notre Dame has got to be one of the more difficult jobs to have in the college football, man. He's done an outstanding job getting them to the playoff. I know it's a whole bunch of teams, whatever, but he got them to the playoffs. He still got to do it. He also got an extension too, so good for him. That's guaranteed money. So whether they let him go, he's still gonna get his bread. He's a really good recruiter, and he made it to the next round of the tournament after beating Indiana, a team that maybe Brian feels the same, shouldn't have been there in the first damn place, but they were there, and Notre Dame ended up winning. I don't have much about the game, Brian. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, this game was never really competitive. I watched the entirety of it, but Notre Dame should have won the Indiana Bowl because both teams are from Indiana. I do think that the coach has played coached exceptionally well this season. He's got a 12-1 team. There's not much to dislike here. Notre Dame has a route that puts them in a position to make it to a national championship without having to try real hard. And we'll talk more about that as we talk about who wins these next games.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to be on a side of a bracket, you want to be on the side of the bracket that Notre Dame is on. I mean, I've said, there's 3 teams that I think are the best teams, and they're all on one side of the bracket.
All right, we'll go to the next one. We both had this one, Penn State and SMU. I said I'm riding Penn State all the way for the next couple games, and this was at Penn State -9 was a rout. Anything about the game, Brian?
They barely scored 9.
No. I didn't think Indiana was problematic in being in. I mean, they had 2 losses. Some of the other teams had 3. I did not think that what was it? Alabama got slighted. They didn't do enough. But SMU, they should not have been in there.
Yeah.
It was they were never ever really going to be good enough in order to make this competitive, and that's exactly how that looked. This game wasn't competitive from the minute the ball was kicked off.
Yeah, that touchdown they scored was in the 4th quarter. So yeah, the game was well out of hand by then. I've been watching Penn State for years since James Franklin been there. I have a good sense of when they're going to kill a team and when they're going to lose games. And, they killed SMU, not surprisingly. Next game, I'm going to go
But
to
I don't know that
Texas.
SMU could have beat any of these teams.
But I agree to that too. Texas and Clemson, we were both on this one. I said that Texas should blow them out. The spread was 13.5. They won by 14. Texas is just so much more talented than Clemson. I feel they should have won by more, but they still won the game by 2 touchdowns. Any thoughts on it?
No, I mean, like I said, I think Texas is one of the 3 most talented football teams this season. Have fought it all the way, including their losses, all of which they're one team. But they disposed of a good Clemson team. Clemson was a 12 seed, but they were clearly better than SMU and Indiana, if you ask me. Yeah. Texas moves on in advance. It's also in a very favorable section of the bracket.
And then the last one was Ohio State, Tennessee. I was going to shout out to my man Stan. I was going to bet Tennessee +7, but then he told me, he said, look, I understand how you feel about Ohio State, but you have to understand it's going to be 20-something degrees at Ohio State, and Ohio State's going to be pissed off in the last game they just lost against Michigan. So they're going to come out there fired up with something to prove. And I said, you know what? Good point. And they exactly played that way as well. They were up 21-0 in the first quarter. They never looked back. They won 42-17. Any thoughts on the game, Brian? Because they came to play every quarter.
Yeah. Oh, look. Ohio State is one of the 3 teams I said are super talented. They came out and played like a super talented team. They were tougher than Tennessee was.
Yep.
This is not to say that Tennessee is a bad team, because obviously you thought they even had a chance at winning it. This is just to say that, styles make fights, and Ohio State had the right style for this fight and just whooped them.
Yeah, this one saved me some money because he had a good point. This spot was really good for Ohio State to bounce back and show everybody that they're still Ohio State and a national championship contender. So now
4-0 this week for me.
Yep, 3-1. Yep, 4-0. Yep. Let's talk about these next week's games, Brian. Because there's some interesting games here. Let's start with the beginning. Let's go Notre Dame and Georgia. I would love for Marcus Freeman to beat Georgia. Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think Georgia's going to beat Georgia and just make it happen?
This is going to be a really, really good game. You have a leaning on it already, or
I would take the under. I don't know. It's like Georgia's been in this spot so many times, Brian, and I don't think they're the best team or even the second best team. But sometimes they find ways to pull these games out. But if I had to bet, I would take Notre Dame though. I really would. But I'm not.
So
betting.
Here's the thing. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah.
And what's the spread on this one? Georgia -2. Okay, so Vegas is on agreement on this. Yeah, like I wouldn't bet on it for fun, maybe But if I were to make a pick, I think Notre Dame has a chance of winning this game. I think Georgia is susceptible to being able to be beat, I think I don't know. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going with them as well. I would bet the under, but under 44 points. But I'm definitely going with Notre Dame. I don't think this is going to be a slugfest. This is going to be. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. This is going to be a very low scoring game. And
where are they? They're in New Orleans, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a dome.
It's going to be on turf. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Next game, we're probably on the same side as this. Boise State, probably a little overseeded in my opinion, but Boise State is playing Penn State. I think this spread is 14 or something like that. 11. I got it at 9 or 10. So I'm on Penn State big in this one. What about you?
Yeah, this is going to work out for the committee because they needed to show that an underdog could win in the way it was after the first round. And here they go. Because I don't think Boise State – love Gene T. Understand they're not a top 5 team, although they deserve to get the 3 seed based on how it all works out. Sort of like Minnesota is going to be a 5th seed in the NFL. Yeah. But anyways, I think Penn State wins heavy. I would take them and give up the 10.5 points.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Boise State play in person. No knock against Boise. I mean, definitely no knock. I've been to their stadium, but they're not a top 5 team at all. Just by looking at them physically, they're just not an athletic.
But here's the thing: there's all these people who were sitting there talking about they're going to lose and all that, and they don't deserve to be there. Bullshit. This is exactly why
they deserve to be there.
Playoffs work.
Yeah,
they deserve to be there. They deserve the opportunity. They deserve to be able to play in this game and take a shot at it. Because whether it happens this season or next season, there's going to be a dark horse team. And I don't think Boise State's going to be it, but they deserve their opportunity to be that team.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
They definitely. I mean, look, I said this was going to happen. There's going to be more blowouts in this whole thing if you start adding teams, and there were pretty much all blowouts. But still, in this 12-team format, Boise State definitely belongs there. I 100% agree with you on that one. Let's go to the other side of the bracket. Interesting game. Arizona State. That's a sneaky team that I like. They're playing Texas. What you got there?
Texas is favored by 14. I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to give up the 14. I've told you, Texas is one of the most talented teams. You know how much I like to root for previous Pac-10, Pac-12 teams like Arizona State, but they're in a talent void that Texas has all the talent on the field, and almost every position. I would say that they have more talent than Arizona State. And I would give up the 14?
14.
Yeah,
all right,
14. I would give up the 14 points. I think Texas will win by more.
So I've seen Arizona State play a few times this season. They're going to be one of what people like to call a tough out. I'm going to take Arizona State on the spread, but I'm going to take Texas to win the game, and I'm going to take them to win by 6. I think Arizona State is going to be able to score points and put a scare into Texas. And like I said, I just can't trust Texas. So yeah, that's how I'm going to go that one. And I save the best game for last. Ohio State playing Oregon. This is going to be a rematch of the game played earlier this year that Oregon won.
Ended with a 1 point loss for Ohio State. And they didn't have the ability to kick a field goal that they got in range to kick. So for all intents and purposes, if you could look at that game to be a win or a loss one way or the other.
Yeah. And it's Ohio State favored, even though they're a lower seed team, they're favored by 2. My question is, I need to find out. It's at the Rose Bowl. Wow. Okay. Who you got in this game, Brian?
Taking Oregon. I think Oregon. Look, Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas are the 3 teams that I think this is your national championship. I think this is going to be the game that we would have liked to have seen if we were bowl matching folks up. I think it's amazing that it's going to be at the Rose Bowl, and I think one of the reasons why Oregon has a little bit of an advantage is because it is at the Rose Bowl. Where there can be it's a track meet. You can run fast. It's going to probably be warm. It's been beautiful weather down here. I totally understand why teams like Ohio State. I will not be surprised to be wrong, but I'm going to take Oregon. 2 points.
Okay. I like, man, back when bowl games meant something, man, the Rose Bowl was usually the best game of the year. So it's a flashback here. I thought when they first played, you took Oregon, I took Ohio State, and I really thought that Ohio State should have won last game, but they blew the fourth quarter. Some critical things in the fourth quarter, they blew.
The last 2 minutes, that's it.
But I think it was some botches early though as well too with the quarterback. He messed up, but so I think they should have won the first game. I think Ohio State is the slightly better team, so I'll be taking them this game against Oregon and not make those same mistakes that they did in that first game. I think the Ohio State playing that first playoff game against Tennessee, I think that actually helps them this game. They get into a little rhythm, and I think they pull out a win against Oregon. I think they pull it out by 6 or 7 points.
Oh, okay.
So it should be a good one. But of course, it wouldn't surprise me if Oregon wins. But that's what I'm going with.
But yeah, that's must-see TV right there.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Definitely.
There's even a less than 0 chance that I just end up deciding to go to that game and saying, "F it, I'm gonna go."
Well, you could. It's in your backyard. Just pay that.
I've gone to the Rose Bowl. I've numerous times. I'll just say that I've been to at least 6 or 7 Rose Bowls.
Okay.
Must game to go to.
It's all good. GB, any thoughts on any of these games or no?
Y'all got it all, man. I don't watch enough to speak on it.
Okay, I'm about to ask Brian one quick question. Ohio State plays Miami. Miami's favored by 3.5. Who you take?
Wait, who?
Miami and Ohio State. I mean, I'm sorry, Miami and Iowa State. I'm sorry, Iowa State. My
I'm
bad.
like, what?
My bad.
Yeah, Buckeyes and Hawkeyes are two different.
My bad. My bad. Who would you take? Miami minus
okay,
3.5.
I'm sorry. So you said it was Miami
State
versus Iowa State.
Iowa State Cyclones.
Hawkeyes.
No, Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa's the Hawkeyes. It's Iowa State.
Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
And where are they playing that?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. They're playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Florida.
Pop-Tart Bowl, but where I knew that because I was joking about it. Where's that game being held?
Florida.
The trophy is a working toaster.
It's being played in Florida.
Yeah.
The trophy is a working toaster.
It's at Camping World Stadium in Florida.
Oh man. Okay. Well, you convinced me. Well, who's playing? Is everyone playing? Is this?
It doesn't. I haven't heard anything that Cam Ward's not playing, which would be the only reason I would take Miami. If he's not playing, I would definitely take the other side.
I mean, look, this is setting up to obviously be.
It's only 3.5 though.
Yeah, I would take Miami, especially since it's in Florida.
It's Orlando.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's in their backyard. This game is set up for them to be able to win.
Think about Miami. Miami is horrible in bowl games. They always lose. I don't give a damn who they play. They always lose because they're not motivated. And that's the whole thing about these bowl games. It's about motivation. I'm still going to take Miami if Cam Ward plays because obviously if he's playing, other teammates must be motivated as well to try to, end the season with the win. But yeah, that's the only reason I'm taking them. No, but I just want your thoughts on this game. That's all.
As of 17 hours ago, Mario Cristobal said he's not surprised that Cam Ward is going to play for the Hurricanes in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
He's probably trying to increase his draft status too, which would be another motivating factor for me to take Miami. So I don't know. We'll see if all that works out.
You can increase your draft status by being a stud in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Well, you could be. Could be, but it's all good. But yeah, GB, we can move on. We're good.
Let's do it. So this is last week in the NFL. We're gonna run them down. Broncos and Chargers. Broncos fall to the Chargers 27-34.
I'm not. Brian can take this one because I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even watch a minute of this game. I just saw some stats and that's it.
It was close.
This was a good game.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
This is a good game.
Yep.
Really, the person I want to hear because I know Glenn watched. We were kind of going back and forth. I mean, look, the stat lines were pretty similar, right? Bo Nix with 2 touchdowns to Herbert.
And remember, Herbert won, but Herbert beat Denver twice this year now. Beat him twice.
Bo Nix with 25 rushing yards. Herbert with 28 rushing yards.
Beating Denver ain't nothing,
bro. This was these two stellar, outstanding quarterbacks.
Oh, man.
Matched up.
Hey, Brian, the future of the league is in good hands, ain't it?
The future of the league is in great hands because these two guys are over here trying to make sure that we have games like this, these battles.
Damn, it's Brady Manning all over again, ain't it, GB?
Look, this was a well-fought game. It was interesting. Brady. I wouldn't say it was like the best game I've ever seen or anything like that. But Herbert caught there. It came out on top. He showed some moxie. And look, I don't take this loss is not Bo Nix's, right? The only difference was Herbert got the ball last in the situation to go and win it. Nix did not. So that was it. And he had to go do what he had to go do, right, Glenn?
Yeah, GB, your thoughts on how this great quarterback played?
Give me a second. I was trying to get my mic back. I turned off my mic and camera. If you aren't watching, because that was ridiculous. Bo Nix average air yards was 3.3.
Damn, that high, man.
Right. Please stop the cat. To quote the young kids, man. Like, bro,
263 of them.
Bro was throwing screen passes that turned into 80-yard runs. I watched the game. Justin Herbert throws one of the best 10-yard outs you could ever see.
You're hella funny.
Bro, that game, both. I mean, I know the numbers, but it was average, I guess. It wasn't a hard pass. Very average play. What I saw a Coop who said coaches that really are trusting their quarterbacks ask them to throw in big games. Neither one was really asked to throw. They ran.
Well, Nix threw 40 times, and Herbert threw 31.
For 3 yards each, Chief. If I'm
I mean,
throwing
I didn't watch the
laterals,
game.
You said he was asked to throw. You're talking about the results.
Yeah,
Jason was saying you ask him to throw if you trust him.
that's
They were asked to
71
throw.
throws.
That's a lot of throws.
That's not like a Jimmy G game where you throw 8 times. That's when your quarterback don't trust
they
you.
had the
Your
same
coach don't
numbers.
trust you.
2 touchdowns and a pick. Sounds real Jimmy G-ish for 250, but all right.
No,
Either
Jimmy
way.
G would be 1 touchdown and 1 pick. But go ahead.
It was it looked like 2 coaches who are good at what they do, who were playing not to lose the game. They played good defense. Both teams ran the ball, and that was it. So I wasn't
Let me look
overly
deeper
impressed.
Here. Okay,
There
so
ain't
wait,
nothing deeper to look at. Let's go to the next game. So we ain't got that much time.
12. They got 21 runs for Denver and 40 throws. I don't know, Glenn. I didn't watch the game. I'm just looking at these stats here.
You should have, because these were not amazing passes you were seeing. These were, again, 3.3 air yards per pass is not, you're not going to wow me, Chief.
And then San Diego.
Watching the boy throw screen passes.
We're playing a relatively conservative offense.
Absolutely.
They're not trying to air it out, but they've never done that. And I think both the quarterbacks executed on what the game plan was pretty darn well.
That's
Herbert
going to be their
completed
game
passes to
plan.
10 different receivers.
Yeah, they had the most receivers thrown to in a game because it was whoever was closest to the line of scrimmage. So
it's all good. Now Bo Nix at 9. It's all good. We can move on. Go ahead.
Texans Chiefs, man. Chiefs beat the Texans 19-27. Shout out to Tank Dell with a pretty bad injury.
I think we were on opposite
think about
sides
that?
on this one, Brian. I stick with KC. I think you had Houston, but
No,
you had KC.
Until KC loses, you won't see me pick against them.
Okay, yeah. So I had KC in this one. I just think they're just, like I said, I don't think Houston's as good as last year. I still think they're getting love from last year, and they're not that team. Kansas City, I don't think they played absolutely great, but they played good enough to beat Houston and win by 8 points. But Houston definitely could have had a chance to win this game or at least take the lead. And but Kansas City just, they've been finding ways to win all season. They won the game.
Yeah, and for clarification, I said I would take Houston if Mahomes did not play. He was announced to play the very next day.
Say that.
But
That's right.
I said KC otherwise. I will not take a bet against Mahomes because black magic and all that other good stuff. But this was – I actually thought the Houston Texans showed a little bit more than I was expecting them to. I was expecting them to kind of not really live up to it, and Stroud had a little bit with trouble with the 2 interceptions. But Mahomes has been exactly what he's been most of the season, which is very, very average, and then he finds ways to win the game, which he did in this game, and credit to him for figuring that out. One of the things that was most interesting to me was that they were featuring Hunt. And as I've said, since the minute Pacheco was talked about coming back, Hunt fits the offense better. They play better football. They look like a better offense when Hunt is in the backfield. Pacheco is a change of pace back in nature. They should use Hunt more going forward in the play and into the playoffs.
Yep. Steelers Ravens. Ravens win 34-17 over the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, we were both on the same side. We both had Baltimore. Pittsburgh's a defensive-led team. Their best player, TJ Watt, was hobbled. He only had 1 tackle this game. You're going against Lamar Jackson. You're a defensively-led team, and you don't have your best defensive player. That's a recipe for disaster. Lamar did his thing against Pittsburgh. And I don't know how many out there are familiar with point spreads, but when Baltimore plays Pittsburgh, that point spread is always usually between 3 points and 4.5. This was 7. So that lets you know that Baltimore was clearly the better team in this game, and they proved they were the better team in this spot, and won by 17, which doesn't happen in this series. It's not blowouts when Pittsburgh plays Baltimore. It's always close games, and Baltimore did their thing and won the game.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we both knew that Baltimore was the better team, also in the better situation. Having no TJ Watt was a really, really serious problem.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things that are interesting in here. What has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Pittsburgh had 10 different receivers who were part of the receiving situation. Baltimore receiving, with 273 touchdowns, only had 6. It was, and the Derrick Henry was a man amongst
how many
boys.
runs he had? Yeah,
24 runs for 162 yards.
He ran more than Lamar had
in
attempts.
College, but he's in the pros playing much bigger dudes.
Yeah.
So this game kind of set itself up to be this type of, because of the injuries, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of muscling through right now. But hats off to Lamar Jackson for playing yet another outstanding game, both statistically And then when you were watching it, passed the eye test. He was the reason why Henry was able to get into the secondaries, because they were always wondering what if Lamar Jackson was going to break out wide.
Yeah. Pittsburgh is the only team that can stop Lamar consistently from running the ball. He had 9 rushes for 22 yards. That's the only team. Anybody else, he has 9
They
rushes.
game plan him well.
Yeah, they know how to stop him from running.
And the Steelers almost always beat him. This is rare.
Yeah. So, the Baltimore had 33, 35. They had 38 runs. So, yeah, they were doing their thing. Next game, GB.
Yeah, and since I turned my camera off, I'm like off with the audio. So apologies to anybody watching, trying to do tricks. Giants and Falcons. Falcons win 34-7. Michael Penix gets his first start.
Go ahead, Brian. I know you're a big Penix fan. Go ahead. What you think?
I actually am a big Penix fan, but he didn't show me anything spectacular this game other than that the team won, and he was a part of it. I didn't think he was the reason that they won, but man, it's amazing what you can do when you're not giving the ball away. I mean, Penix went 202 with 1 interception, but that's not
and that pick
150 with 4 or 3 or 5 interceptions.
No, that shouldn't have been a pick. That's all.
That pick hit Pitts in the hands.
He's gonna learn to stop throwing to Kyle Pitts. He's gonna learn that.
and that I agree with you on all of that. But the Atlanta Falcons have proven, first of all, they're going to mess around and end up with a home playoff game after what Tampa Bay did this. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, probably.
But it's amazing how solid the Atlanta Falcons are when they just don't make mistakes, big, huge mistakes. The only difference between Penix and Cousins is the picks that Cousins couldn't get out of. But anyways, it's a great day when you get to play the Giants for your first start, because they are horrible and they want to be bad. Right, they were playing to lose and everything else, and I don't think anybody on that team had any interest in doing it. We're going to talk about the Raiders in a minute, who showed up and won. I don't think the Giants could care less about winning. Now. I don't think there's anybody on that team, and I think some of the players are like, "Do me a favor and cut me."
Yeah, you know what? So what you just said last is part of my analysis for this game. Everybody knows the Giants want the number 1 pick, so it didn't matter who started at quarterback for Atlanta. They were going to win this game. I wouldn't have made the switch from Kirk Cousins to the Penix. I wouldn't have done that, but I understand why they did it. And if you're going to do it, you might as well do it against the Giants, because it's pretty much a guarantee when the Giants aren't going to win any more games, and they don't want to win any more games. The Penix
they got the Commanders. They got the Commanders and the Panthers next too, so it's not like there's some winnable games.
Yeah, it's going. Well, that's why you need to get this win in now, because it ain't going to get easier.
Yeah, who for Atlanta?
Yeah, they got Commanders and the Falcons.
Okay, yeah. So Penix start. First start ever. I mean, some people are taking some away from it. I can't. It's just one start. Of course, there's more to see, but they leaned heavily on the run game. Algier and Robinson ran combined 33 times. Penix threw 27. They ran, I think, 39 times this game, but 38 times. But let's keep pushing. That's his first start. Keep going. Yeah.
Let's keep pushing as we get closer. Lions, Bears. Lions win 34-17.
Well, the Bears are atrocious. They give up 30 to everybody. They gave up 30 to San Francisco. Detroit's offense is way better in San Francisco, so it was no surprise that they put up 30. Detroit could have put up more in Chicago. Chicago is just bad. They found every way to lose this year. They're not good defensively. It's just, the season just needs to be over and over in a hurry for them. And Detroit is trying to lock up that number 1 seed. So they did their thing.
Perfect split on the Detroit side, 32 rushes, 32 passes. They passed early, got a lead, ran late, made it 32 on the split there. Lions are supposed to beat the Bears, and that's exactly what they did.
Mm-hmm. All right, test. So then you got Cardinals, Panthers. Panthers beat the Cardinals, knock them out of playoff contention.
Yeah, I didn't know they were playoff contention until Brian said something about it. But Brian, you want us to talk about this game?
Sure. The only thing that I'll say is the Panthers have become, much better record in Arizona State, but they become a tough out. There are not a lot of people who want to play them, not because they're a good team. It's because they're playing hard. They're trying to find ways to win. They played the Cowboys and lost, but they were in that game. They played the Eagles and were in that game.
Yeah, they could have won that game.
They could have won that game. Yeah,
they could have won.
Yeah. And so the only thing I'll say is that, look, Arizona for a long time looked like they were trying to make moves in the right direction. Carolina put them down. Congrats to Carolina. They deserve that win.
Yeah, Carolina does deserve that win. You know, of course I'm always rooting for Bryce Young, man, no matter how tiny he is. But he got another win. There's always a team every single year. There's always two things you can count on. There's always a team at the beginning of the year that starts off 4-0, 5-0, start off hot, then they kind of tail off towards the season. And there's always a team at the end of the season that puts together a winning streak to try to build some momentum for the following year. And it looks like Carolina is probably that team. They've been stringing together some wins, and you know, every win for them is good. It's big for them and good for Bryce Young's confidence. So good for Carolina to win this game.
Also in the NFC West, Rams beat the Jets 19-9 in New York.
Well, I think me and Brian were both on this one. You got any thoughts?
I still think that the Rams are being overlooked. I mean, they should have been able to beat them by more than 10 points because the Jets are horrible.
Yeah, it was a
but
field
they
goal
have
game
had
for a
a
while.
good defense, and Robert Saleh should not have been fired. But the Jets defense is real. You know, hats off to the Rams for just doing what they needed to do to keep things moving forward. They're going to win the division.
So
I'm
think
going to keep saying it.
that's funny. I think winning by 10 points is impressive, and here's why. I don't think they should have won by more. I think the kickoff time, weather at kickoff was like 25 degrees. It was cold. And
Yeah.
It's an East Coast start, 10 a.m. So their body clock. So I took the under 23 in the first half of this game. So I thought it would take the Rams some time to get going. I think they only scored 6 points in the first half. They finally scored a touchdown, I think, in the second half. But yeah, they shut down the Jets, who just overrated. But anyway, yep.
All right.
My
Eagles-
thoughts, bro. What you gonna go to Washington, Philadelphia? Because I want Brian to start with that one.
Yeah, Eagles Commanders. And
Yeah.
Commanders win 36-33 after Jalen Hurts
Good
gets
game.
hurt. Kenny
Good
Pickett
game.
actually didn't play terrible. Kept him in it.
Oh well,
but they ended up losing.
I disagree to that, but go ahead. Go
And they
ahead.
were right there.
Well,
They moved it down when they needed
I
to.
mean, yeah, look, Pickett played just fine, given this being thrown into a situation in a huge game. He is not the reason that they lost. The reason that they lost was because Jaden Daniels on the other side played like a man possessed. 5 touchdowns. He was
There were a
doing
bunch
the
of
darn
picks
thing.
and
He was
stayed
also
in the game.
He was also the leading rusher with 81 yards. So, the story here is Jaden Daniels, seeing all that Bo Nix media and saying, hold up, I'm still here. I'm still pretty darn good. And then just going out there and chucking it. This was a fun game to watch. I mean, look, there's no love lost for me and the Eagles because Eagles fans are super obnoxious. And there's plenty of them in my world in LA. So I think I picked the Eagles to win, but I am happy to see the Commanders have done it.
Yeah, I had Philadelphia on a teaser +3, and I'm so happy because I didn't even know who the backup quarterback was for the Eagles. And as soon as I saw it was Kenny Pickett, my head went down. And I did not turn the game back on, I think, until midway to the fourth quarter. Beginning
That was a good game.
Kenny Pickett is terrible. I knew the offense would not move when him in the game. The second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, 0 touchdowns, nothing but long field goals, because that's exactly what happened when he was in Pittsburgh. Team always had set for long field goals because he couldn't complete first downs, and they couldn't get touchdown drives, and that's exactly what happened.
They dropped some big passes for him, but yeah.
And the thing about it, when Jaden Daniels threw that pick, I thought the game was going to be over in the fourth quarter when he threw that crossbody pick. But then I found out, I didn't know that they had all their timeouts. They used them. Of course, Kenny Pickett couldn't complete a first down. Washington got the ball back because I thought before Jaden Daniels threw that pick, they were going to go down there and score because that's what they were doing. They got some good momentum. That Philly defense was tired. Happy for Jaden. That's a big win for him. I don't care if it was against Kenny Pickett. It was against the Eagles. It's a huge win for him and his confidence in that team. That was a good win, man. That was a good game, man. And he's definitely the best rookie quarterback right now in the
22
NFL.
22 points in the fourth quarter. That's
they
killed.
Impressive. He torched Philly's defense running. Bijan, is that Bijan Robinson? I forgot the running back name.
No.
They were getting some
Brian Robinson Jr.
Brian Robinson, yeah, he was getting some yards too. I can't forget him. It wasn't all Daniels. Robinson was moving the pile too. So good win for them. Definitely good.
Yeah, well, Saquon was the running back to watch in that one. 29 rushes, 150 yards.
Exactly. He got the ball.
He continues to play like a man possessed.
Right, and you see when Kenny Pickett got in the game, they had to keep running them to the ground because they needed Saquon, and Saquon delivered.
Hey, I was saying 5.2 yards a carry.
Yeah, Saquon delivered. Yeah,
run it.
Browns Bengals 24-6.
I have nothing. Dorian Thompson, the
Bengals
quarterback for Cleveland, is a significant downgrade from Jameis Winston. He can't play in the NFL.
Agreed. He's not ready yet. He was drafted to, be able to sit for a year or two. That was the whole idea. But, Burrow keeps on doing his thing, right? It was this 252, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Chase Brown continues to run well for the Bengals.
Better defense. They're a playoff team.
Huh?
Better defense. They're a lock for a playoff team. Now they're struggling again.
Not only are they a lock, but they're a team that you would be pretty afraid of, because who wants to play Burrow? If, let's say, they sneak in, because there's still a slim chance that they could sneak into the playoffs. Who wants to be the 2 seed who gets to take on them as the 7 seed? Like, you don't.
I know Buffalo does it. Buffalo want to play them.
Yeah. Titans, Colts, 38-30. Only thing there, I think, was Jonathan Taylor went nuts. But
I can't comment on Tennessee.
All right.
Yeah, this was that game that I said I didn't watch. I didn't watch and didn't interested. Matter of fact, it was the only game I didn't have on a TV this weekend. But I kept on seeing the stats, and I kind of wish I had, because the game itself statistically looked like it was interesting. But I don't have much to say.
Vikings, Seahawks, 27-24. Vikings pull it out.
Go ahead, B.
Pull it out again. So whenever I'm watching these games, and again, they're the cardiac kids over there. And then afterwards, I get to see all the commenters, and like, when are we going to believe in Sam Darnold? I totally hear them. I understand. Down the stretch, he's making great decisions. He makes great passes. There's a couple breaks that went our way. We wouldn't have any losses, or we'd probably still have lost the first one to the Lions, but not to the one to LA. But I feel like this game should have been more like the Falcons game as far as results. And it's hard for me to get past that, because they get down there and they settle for field goals too often when they should be able to score touchdowns. And they are not a team that can do a sustained drive from the 25 and score a touchdown. They have to have a quick hit to a Justin Jefferson that gets them way down there, or some other big, huge, significant play, in order to be able to get touchdowns instead of field goals. That is not how you win playoff games. I am still very nervous about them, but I love watching my team win, even if it's going to end my existence because of the stress.
I embedded this game, but in my points spread league, I took Seattle plus 3.5 at home, because Minnesota plays a lot of close games on the road. This was not another close game. Darnold, right after actually, Geno Smith scored a touchdown pass to AJ Barner. He came right down and hit Justin Jefferson, man, like 30 seconds later for a touchdown. And then Geno got the ball last, and it was an interception. It was a bad interception. It wasn't really close, but Minnesota just pulls out, man. When Sam Darnold hit that, I said Minnesota's going to win this game, and then they won the game. And this is how they play. This is what they do. You're kind of used to it now this season. KC has a style that you're used to seeing. I'm used to Minnesota style. I mean, it's just what happens.
Please stop it.
It's just what happens. So, big win for them, because Detroit won. So big, they still can get the number 1 seed.
O'Connell has 2 playbooks. He has the one in the beginning because they outscore everybody in the league in the first quarter,
right? And
then they have the middle of the game, and then they have the other playbook that they go back to with taking shots and
the plays that work.
Yeah, and the middle playbook. Can we just burn that?
Yeah.
Let's make this identity anyway.
Yeah, it's all good. Go ahead.
The Bills barely beat the Patriots 21-24.
That happens every year with the Bills. Late in the season, they play a team that they should kill, and they always do this. They were down, I think, 14-0 at one point, and they came back
start the game,
and beat the Patriots. The Bills do this every single year. That's why it's hard to trust them in the playoffs. But yeah, any thoughts, Brian?
No, this is what happens when you have cold weather and wind and people who don't really want to be outside trying to play football. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only people who wanted to watch that game were the parking attendants, so they could get out of there. Like it was cold, it was windy. That's
a red zone highlight game. Yeah,
I was watching it that way. Jaguars, Raiders win. It was good to see them get that monkey off their back. 10 losses in a row is a lot. We'll talk about my minute to win it, or my hogwash is going to relate to this game also. But I was glad to see them get a win. It's 2 bad teams. We were the less bad team. But I will say that a lot of we've had like every rookie's had to play. They've all contributed. The team's still fighting. They look like they want to win. They still want to play. So I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Brock Bowers, second in the league with receptions at 101. That dude is highly impressive.
Yeah, rookie. Only rookie to ever have 100 catches and 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that dude is good. Knew he would be. Yeah, like I said, I told you guys earlier, I bet on the Raiders. I thought they would win. They're trying to win games. Antonio Pierce ain't trying to throw a damn thing. He's trying. The Raiders are trying to win games. They're better than the Jaguars, which is why I bet on them. Even though it was only Raiders -1, they're still better than the Jaguars. Jaguars are an oil fire, but
they're in a bad spot.
They went for the Raiders.
Next game, man. Shout out to MIA. Neither of us was at this game. 49ers Dolphins. Niners lose 29-17.
I picked the Dolphins. I watched this game. I'm happy the Dolphins won. But you want to talk about screen passes, Glenn? That's all Tua was throwing. Screen passes to fast guys that were getting first downs, and that kept working all throughout the game.
You love it because that's what your favorite QBs do.
Man, it was
AFC West.
It was crazy because you knew what Miami's game plan was, and 49ers still couldn't stop it. They would have receivers just go out into the field, and then they'll have some guy leak underneath who's fast and small. They would just throw it out to him, and he would just get the first down. And
Daniel's probably loving
pretty much happened all game. 49ers can't guard fast, guys. Like I said, I didn't want the 49ers to win. I picked Miami, and Miami got the job done. So thank you. I think I texted.
The only thing I will say is Tua did try to throw it to Tyreek Hill a few times.
He did,
and Tyreek Hill couldn't hold water in a cup at this point.
Except that short touchdown
what's wrong
pass.
with that dude's hands, but he cannot catch.
Except that short touchdown pass. But I'm with you. I agree. No, he did try.
There was a short touchdown pass. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Every time they tried to give him deep, he was open numerous times and just could not catch it.
And the thing is, and
Devon Kane, man, that boy can play.
That's another fast guy.
Legit.
Yeah, that's another fast guy. He's good.
Yeah, he got busy. All right, Buccaneers, Cowboys. Cowboys sneak out a win, man. The Bucs needed that, and they lose 24-26.
Yeah, so I said last week, if you ever bet the Cowboys, always do it when they're an underdog. Always, because they always cover the spread, or most of the time they do. They were 4-point underdogs at home. I don't know what happened with this game with Tampa Bay, Brian. Maybe you can explain. But Cowboys ended up not only covering the spread, but winning. What happened?
It's hard to explain. I mean, look, Cooper Rush did look good. Not bad, but good. You know, not just Dallas played a better game. Baker Mayfield tried to do Baker Mayfield things and pull it out of his backside, but he wasn't able to. And ultimately that was, he was trying to do too much too late, which is the story of the Tampa Bay Bucs season, other than injuries. And, ultimately it cost them. And it cost them in a big way because they went from possibly they were going to pretty locked in on the 4 seed. If they were, won this game, they're going to win the next 2. Now they're going to be fighting for they were going to have the 3rd seed. Now they're fighting for a 4 seed. And, Atlanta's going to go win that division maybe, which is crazy.
Yeah, what was funny about this game?
They have a 2-game. Atlanta has a 2-game swept Tampa Bay, so they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, what was crazy about this game is I don't know, Glenn, if you watched, Cowboys couldn't run the ball.
We did.
All they can do is pass, and Todd Bowles couldn't do anything to stop it.
31 rush yards, man.
Todd Bowles couldn't do nothing to stop it, which was definitely surprising. It's one of them games like you just make you scratch your head, like, damn, Cooper Rush is throwing, you still can't stop it. They can't run the ball. They're pretty much one-dimensional, and they ended up working, ended up winning the game.
Cooper Rush, I doubt. I don't know what the number is, but I bet you his yards per attempt were much higher than those other guys because it seemed like he was always having to go, take shots.
Yeah, he was throwing it.
Yeah, let me see.
It says his average was 8.3 on the completion. I just don't know if that was
303. You have to go 303 divided by 43. Yeah. Yep.
So last game
divided by 43. Go ahead.
Blowout, Packers Saints 34-0.
Well, I put on Peerless One Sports. That was my biggest bet of the week. Packers in the first half -8. You got a dome team with a bad quarterback in December going on the road to Green Bay. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, this is a business as usual for Green Bay. Green Bay has one of the best rosters in the league. I really believe in that roster now. I'm not saying they're going to win Super Bowl, but it wouldn't surprise me if they actually made it. They're just a better team than New Orleans. They handle business at home, and nothing much to it.
Josh Jacobs been getting busy.
I turned that game off about halftime because it was the end of one of my fantasy football seasons. Because all they needed to do was not a lot, and literally the Packers defense showed up, Love showed up, Watson showed up. Like everybody all they needed to do was not a lot, and everyone did a lot. So, anyways, I didn't watch the second half of that game, but it was a blowout. And,
Spencer
and
Rattler.
I agree with you, by the way, Jason, that the Green Bay Packers have a great, talented team. 11-4, which is a very, very good record in most seasons, doesn't fully state how good they are this season. I'm nervous about this weekend in the playoffs.
We're about to get to it. Matt LaFleur also showed the Niners and Shanahan what to do as he took his running back out at halftime. And put in the other comments. All right, so this week, Chiefs Steelers on Christmas Day at 10 a.m. Who y'all got?
Brian, who you got? Run it down.
Look, here's the thing. I'm taking the Chiefs. I expect that this could be a game where the Steelers find a way to win. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be desperate, and the Chiefs have locked up the 1 seed. There's absolutely no reason for them to press. If Mahomes tweaks his ankle, which we know is hurt, or anything like that, they will try and yank him. So this is a great opportunity. But as of right now, Mahomes is playing. As of right now, he's playing a full game. As of right now, I'm going to say the Chiefs are going to win, but I'm absolutely looking for a surprise there.
And so the Chiefs are locked up the 1 seed, right?
Yep.
Mahomes is not. I don't think Mahomes is going to play the entire game. I would take Pittsburgh not only to cover the 3 points, but to win this game. Pittsburgh actually needs this win. Kansas City doesn't. I highly doubt they would keep Mahomes in the entire game. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but I doubt it. And I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one.
Depending on how close it is. Ravens Texans also on Christmas Day, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Who y'all got?
I got Lamar going.
These are 2 great games, by the way, and Netflix is absolutely going to screw this up. But anyways,
they saw what happens when they mess it up, so they got a dry run.
Oh, there's a lawsuit against them. Not that I'm supposed to be talking about it, but
that's funny. Yeah. Who you got? I got Lamar going wild this game. Sorry, they got nobody to stop him.
Agree with you. I think the Ravens win this game. I think the Ravens are going to win this game, but I think the Texans are going to perform well, just not well enough to keep up with the Ravens.
Yeah, I got them losing. Yep.
All right. I'm gonna just run them all down, even though some of these are trash. Seahawks Bears Thursday night.
This is actually an important game because for the playoff implications for the Seahawks, but I do think that the Seahawks find a way to win, and I do mean find a way to win. I do not think that they're going to blow out the Bears.
Thursday night.
Yeah, I got the Bears. I got the Bears winning, especially if it's cold. I got the Bears.
It's supposed to be 42 degrees, so not terrible.
Oh, that's not bad.
Kickoff.
I still got the Bears. I'll take the Bears.
No, it's a nighttime game. Let's go 5:15 and 6:30 are big differences in Chicago.
Well, 5:15 for us is like 7:15. I'll take the Bears. I'll take them.
Yeah, so figure. Okay, so then Chargers at Patriots Saturday at 10. And this is all PST times.
Yeah, Chargers. Moving on.
Chargers. I can't take New England.
That boy Herbert's just so good.
Damn, he's amazing.
Next game, Broncos at Bengals Saturday at 1:30.
This is a tough one. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah.
I do think the Broncos are going to be a playoff team that need to be reckoned with. But I look, the Bengals are playing really well.
Playoff
Burrow
team needs to be reckoned with.
that dude.
Who said that?
Huh?
Who said playoff team to be reckoned with?
Denver.
I did.
Denver's
They're
a
going to be a
playoff.
playoff team.
Denver's a playoff team. With? Why not? Why you can't reckon with them? They're in the playoffs.
Wreck them. I barely know them.
You gotta reckon with somebody.
Man, please.
You know what? I'm taking Denver just because Cincinnati defense is so damn bad.
If Denver goes to Houston, which is a possibility, if Denver goes to Houston, I will take Denver over Houston.
Me too. All
right, we're gonna say
I'm taking Denver in this game too.
All right.
They go to Buffalo, they're gonna get smoked.
I agree.
Cardinals Rams. Cardinals at the Rams Saturday at 5:15.
This is interesting. How does it go? So the Rams usually play the Cardinals usually play the Rams close. I'm sorry. The Cardinals usually play the Rams close because I forgot how the NFC West goes. I'm going to take the Rams, but barely, very close. Not covering the 6 points though. I'll take the Rams.
B.
Rams.
Rams, okay.
Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday at 10 a.m.
Depends on who's
in
starting.
Philly.
Depends on who's starting. Kenny Pickett, I ain't
Hurts
messing with him.
plays. I would don't touch this in a bet,
Yeah.
but Hurts plays Eagles, which he's scheduled to play. By the way, he's supposed to play as of right now. They're expecting him to, but yeah, the Eagles. Quite honestly, take the Eagles either way.
Yeah, I'll go with the
Fair.
Eagles.
They where are they at in seating? They need that game.
Yeah, they need it.
They do. There is a slim chance that if the Vikings lose this week, win next week, the Eagles could sneak into the one, I think.
Yeah. But the Eagles
Okay.
also need that momentum after losing that game against Washington. They need to get a
Momentum.
win.
I recognize the
right.
reference. Yep.
Right.
Panthers at Buccaneers Sunday at 10.
Interesting game. Tampa Bay is
What we
better
talking
than
about?
Carolina. They're better. I got Tampa Bay. That's simple.
I Tampa Bay for sure.
Yeah.
Not because I don't think the Panthers are going to play hard, but you're going to see the most desperate version of the Buccaneers. They're going all
They have to
out
win.
in this game. This
Yeah, they gotta
is
win. Yep.
this is their playoffs.
They got to win.
Yep, at home.
And they need some help from Washington. Mhm.
Indeed. Jets at Bills Sunday at 10 a.m.
I'm not taking the Jets. Are you?
Take a
Never.
jet
Never.
to visit your favorite location is about it.
Yeah,
All
never.
right, we got that one, Bills. All right.
All right, we're doing them all.
against one of the teams that I think is great. No, definitely not.
We're doing them all. So just fast. Colts at Giants Sunday at 10. The irrelevant bowl.
Oh no,
Colts.
the Colts. I mean, that spread went up from Colts -6 to Colts -9. Giants don't want to win. It's Colts.
Yeah, you
all
could
day.
tease that up to 11 or 12 and make
Yeah.
more money off of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a similar game. They're going to do everything they can to lose by
Right.
as much
They
as
don't want.
possible.
They don't want to win games.
Colts will run over the
Yeah.
boys. Raiders at
Yeah.
Saints Sunday at 10. Derek Carr would have, if he'd have been playing, would have had a chance to lose to every NFL team. Unfortunately, I'm a DC fan, but he's lost to 31 teams. He will not lose to 32 at least this year.
So,
Raiders
Brian,
at
what you think? This spread is only New Orleans
Sunday at
-1.
10.
1.5. I know.
Yeah.
This is a trap game. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think there's somebody in the Raiders front office who's telling Antonio Pierce, you're not allowed to win this game. But the Raiders are a better team.
We're going to win.
The Raiders have more talent. They have the ability to win this game. If
It's
I
gonna
were
be similar
picking
to
this
the
game
Jags.
in week 3, same team, same situation, same everything, I would take the Raiders.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Raiders are going to do something where they're going to play 3 quarters and go, okay, great. Now y'all go score some touchdowns.
Yep.
So we can say that we have an emotional win, but we can't mess up the
And
the
that was
draft
my
pick anymore.
same analysis. I do not want to take Spencer Rattler, but that's my same analysis. They're trying to tell him
It's not a-
like Brian Flores, you need to
Ain't gonna
lose
do
this
that.
game, player. Okay.
Ain't gonna do
And
that.
so, yeah, I got the Saints in this one just because of that. Only because of that.
Yeah. I mean, what I was hearing, I don't see them fools trying to lose no game. If they lose, they lose, but I don't think they're going to try to lose it. Titans Jags Sunday at 10. Get
Oh,
to
we
D.
can move on. I got no pick. We can move on. Brian can make one. I'm good.
Give me
Jags are at home.
Jacksonville in the irrelevant bowl.
Yep,
Yeah.
Jags are at home. Dolphins at Browns, also irrelevant. Sunday at 1.
It's not that irrelevant. The Dolphins still have a snowball's chance in Miami of making
Dolphins
the
ain't doing
playoffs.
jack, bro.
I'm just telling you, they still have a snowball's chance in Miami to make the playoffs.
As long as
Yeah,
Dorian Thompson
I see what
guys
you did there. They ain't gonna do it.
quarterbacking. Nah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
Dolphins are going to
Miami.
win this game.
Miami's gonna win. Yeah.
All right, now this is not irrelevant. Packers at Vikings, Sunday at 1:25.
Oh, we didn't do Falcons Commanders. You've been putting me on the spot now. Okay, cool.
It's all coming going by game time.
I am 100% picking this with my heart. I'm picking the Vikings, obviously. I'm 100% picking with my heart. This is not the intelligent. I wouldn't touch this game in any other situation. I'm picking my team to win because they are my team.
They're a playoff team.
And I
To be reckoned with.
hope they're at home. There's a whole bunch of reasons to believe that they can find yet another way to win. The Packers are the better team. So you've heard me say that, but I'm picking the Vikings.
The Vikings were up 28-7 in the first half. The first game they played, Green Bay stormed back and they lost by 2. Jordan Love threw for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns that game. I'm sure they remember that game. This is what people like to call a revenge spot. I will take Green Bay just solely on the revenge of Minnesota beating them in Green Bay the first game. So I would take Green Bay this game.
They split every year. Derek and I joke about this all the time.
It's pretty standard. All right, solid. Falcons at Commanders, another big game, Sunday at 5:20.
I'm taking the better
Commanders gonna
rookie.
smoke
Who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm taking the better rookie too.
I'm taking the better rookie.
Daniels is playing outstanding right now. He's coming off of a big game. This is an important game for him and that team. There's no way that they're going to find a way to give this away to the Atlanta Falcons. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know if they cover the spread or not, but I'm not betting it, but I'm definitely taking Washington. And I see the spread has gone
it's only
down.
4.
Well, it started at 5.
More than 4.
It started at 5 and went to 4. So there's means
Yeah.
a little bit of money's on Atlanta, but I'm taking Washington this game.
All right, the last game of the week, man, the Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers.
Why they really
Sunday at
thought
5.
Because they thought like you thought that
Yeah, it
the
was gonna be
49ers had a
good.
chance this season.
Beginning of the year, it's gonna be good.
When they schedule,
No.
remember they can't flex. They can't flex Monday night games. They can only flex Sunday night.
No, I'm talking about the
games.
spread. Why is the spread only 3? Detroit's way better than San Francisco. Did Detroit lock up the number 1 seed? And I didn't know that.
No, it's here's exactly why. The most injuries of anyone in football is
On
Detroit,
defense?
and most of them are on defense.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of whether they're going to win it. It's a matter of whether or not the San Francisco 49ers are going to score points. And that's why that spread is that way. But Detroit's going to win this game.
Last time this happened was the Bears at home playing San Francisco at home playing the Bears, and 49ers smoked them. I don't know. Detroit is just too good. Their offensive line is the best in the league. They got 2 studs at running back. I mean, I'm sorry.
When they're healthy, their defense is
I'm about to
pretty
say,
darn
one
good
stud
too.
is
And they're
out.
starting to get healthy.
But even though the defense
Montgomery's
is banged up, that doesn't mean the 49ers will be able to take advantage of it. At least not with currently.
Gibbs got
constructed.
1,200 yards, man. He can play him by himself.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I the spread looks good, but I would take Detroit. I'm not betting it, but I would take Detroit. I can't trust San Francisco in this spot.
I would take Detroit and give the 3. They're getting healthy, by the way. They're getting healthier by the week.
Yeah, I'd say I would give the 3 too. I mean, I could see this being maybe the game. The 49ers probably go all out, then packing in for the season, but it's
Even
hard to
going
beat
all
Detroit.
out, probably can't get him.
Detroit is too good.
All right. Solid, man. That's running it up. So let's last couple game balls. Who y'all got for your weekly game?
My game ball to Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, my game ball goes to Charlie Woods, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as a baller.
Played so well in the PNC. I love watching these alternate format golf tournaments, and this one is one of the more interesting to watch. It is purely just to see how the Woods play, and Thomas's didn't play this year. Bernard Langer got to play from like the kids tees practically,
tees,
making him look like he was driving at 450 yards because he's out, and Charlie Woods is over there back in the big boy tees and hitting it hard. But that hole in one, the Eagles, they lost to an Eagle in a playoff. Nobody outplayed another one. They just both played exceptionally well. And Bernard Langer was making putts that he never makes, and he made an eagle on the first playoff hole. Congratulations to them. But Charlie Woods, got to give him the game ball, man. He got the hole in one. Yeah, and his dad immediately said, "You got to buy drinks for all these people," and he said, "Nope, I'm broke."
Yeah, that was funny. Awesome. It was cool to see him and Tiger there. His daughter's playing caddy. Also John Daly and his son out there. It's a dope tournament to watch. So, and just Tiger and his son out there are dope. And to see Tiger was playing some golf on the low.
He played really, really well.
Bro, I was playing some golf.
He hit some shots that showed that creativity and
driver off deck. Yeah, Tiger could play still. So that was great. My game ball goes to Bryce Young. It's been cool to see cats get benched and don't bounce back. It's been cool to see him come back, bounce back. Looks like him and Dalton have a good relationship. Dalton looks like he's been supportive, been a good vet to him. And Bryce Young's playing good ball, man. Like you said, they could have won that Eagles game. A pass gets dropped at the end zone that pretty much cost them that game. But, there's a lot of plays during the course of a game that cost you a game. But he's playing solid ball, man. It's been fun to watch. He's making timely throws. He's getting out of the pocket when he needs to. He looks like a solid quarterback. So that's my game ball. Hogwash. So game balls is Coop's segment he came up with, which is awesome. Hogwash is Brian's segment. Brian, what you got?
Go first, because I'm gonna flip it up on this one. Go ahead. We'll go first.
Coop, you want me to go?
I'll go first. My hogwash goes to Kyle Shanahan. This season has been an absolute disaster. Yes, I'm not saying we would have won a Super Bowl or whatever, but special teams has been
Brian said you wouldn't.
terrible. Huh?
Brian said you
Okay.
wouldn't. First thing he
Yeah.
said after showed us. Yeah.
First thing I said at the beginning of our
Yeah.
podcast.
I said we would have 7
Anyone
losses at
but
least
you.
this year, but I mean, look, it's going to be more than that. But anyway, it goes Kyle Shanahan, man. Special teams is still a wreck. I don't know how many penalties you can get on special teams more than the 49ers. It's actually ridiculous. Still missing kicks. Defense, then array, red zone efficiencies, everything points back to the head coach, and which is Kyle Shanahan, with so many things being wrong, so many free runners coming in on the quarterback. Get tired of seeing this game in, game out, all these miscues. You can't string together a couple good quarters. It's Kyle Shanahan, man. He has to do some soul searching or something, this offseason and come back, with a different mindset and some different players instead of relying on just these veterans to try to build up some of these rookies and some of these young players as well. Yeah, it definitely goes to him. This season has just been a disaster, and it falls on mainly on his shoulders. So it's on him.
Hey, they got bro looking old too. You see him on the sideline. My boy looking cooked. I'm like, damn, y'all, you ain't that old, bro.
Man.
Mine is to anybody with the concept of tanking. I'm watching the Raiders. I'm seeing these posts about now they jumped to 6. What are y'all doing? Bro, ain't nobody out here doing all that practice, doing all the meetings, doing all that to lose no games. Coaches aren't trying to lose no game. We saw this with Brian Flores years ago. Ain't nobody that's in that building that's practicing, lifting weights, doing team meetings, running through walkthroughs, trying to lose no game. Win the games. I loved Antonio Pierce's responses. They said, how do you feel about falling out of the top spot? He said, ask Tom Telesco. That's the GM. He's absolutely right. The GM's job is to build the team. However it happens, you win or lose, whatever happens. You do not play to lose the game under any circumstance. Additionally, everybody wanting the top 2 picks. Go ahead. You guys all watch football. Go back and look at those picks. All your favorite quarterbacks we mentioned, very few of them guys were number 1. If they were number 1, very few of them guys were on their team. Guys who were drafted first as QB that won a Super Bowl, it is Peyton Manning, 1998, who was on the team that they were drafted in and won the Super Bowl. Everybody else, if they won it, look at Matt Stafford. He was not drafted to the Rams, traded later, went to a solid team. There's many ways to get a QB, etc. Get off of that. Again, you got to pick the right guy. It don't matter. See what happens. I got it. You got to trust the process. So the idea of tanking, complete hogwash, stop it. B?
Glenn, I agree with you on that. And also, I guess a lot of people don't watch college football. This is not a great draft for quarterbacks. There are not any A prospects.
There's a couple. And no one watches. Yeah.
This is not an A prospect draft for quarterbacks. These are B prospects. Okay, so you're doing a lot of hoping to get in these guys this year. So I'm with you on that. No need to tank for a quarterback. This ain't it. This ain't the year to do it.
I'm gonna take the easy route. I'm gonna take the easy route. My hogwash goes to all of the people who keep on talking about how the playoffs, the college football playoffs, don't need to be this way because these teams shouldn't be in there because the games were a little bit lopsided, which they were in the first week. These teams, it needed to be expanded. It was expanded. We have created multiple weeks of games because for all the people who want to talk about it, they were watching. They were watching all of these games. We've got another weekend of a bunch of games that people want to see. And then we've got another weekend of games that people want to see. The college football playoffs has been nothing short of spectacular and successful, independent of the scores. And again, all of these teams who have put themselves in the position to get a shot at playing the prohibitive favorites, which are always going to be the same 10 teams, they deserve it. Everyone needs to shut the hell up. Prove me wrong, don't watch it. But you're going to watch it because everyone always does.
And it's the second most watched sport in America behind NFL, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Last segment, minute to win it. I'm going to start, man. My shout outs to Mike Vick, getting a coaching job for Norfolk State. It's cool. He's from the area. I saw his emotional goodbye to the Fox Sports team, just saying how much he's enjoyed the time there. Jimmy Johnson gave him some great advice, told him college, he said the NFL is about coaching, college football is about recruiting, which is awesome. He said, get the right guys. He said, make sure that you have interactions with everybody throughout the building because people don't like being ignored. They especially don't like being ignored by the leader, which I thought was fantastic. So we gave him some great advice. Mike we haven't seen him coach or anything. So I don't know, I don't have any record predictions or whatever, but getting a high profile guy like that at Norfolk State, what that means, I think it's awesome. And Mike Vick has done a great job of kind of turning his image around and being in a great spot. So shout out to Vic.
Yeah.
And
but
stop
Chuck-
doing that man the disfavor of expecting him to be Dion. Dion's Dion. Like, he doesn't need to be Dion.
Nah,
ESPN
he's
had an
his own
article
man.
up there saying
no.
he's the next Dion Sanders. He
Nah,
doesn't
he's his
want
own
to be.
man.
nah.
100%.
Let him be himself. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
But you gave a shout to Mike, but you got to give a shout out to Tony Dungy too, because he kind of helped him get back and assimilate to the NFL and move his career on.
And Andy Reid.
Shout out to Tony. And Andy Reid too, yeah. So shout out to Tony Dungy. Good move. My minute to win is gonna be on my favorite baseball player, the guy who
Man.
the reason why I played baseball was because of Ricky Henderson. He was my favorite. I have a Ricky Henderson throwback jersey from his rookie year. Not when he wore 24, but when he wore 35 in 1979. I have that in my closet. He's my favorite baseball player. My thing was stealing bases, and it was only because of Ricky. That's why I stole bases. That's the reason why I wanted to just get a single, just so I can be on base, so I can steal a base. You know what I mean? That's why. You know what I'm saying? And I love, man, Ricky Henderson. Just it's only 65 too. It was just kind of, I don't know what he died of. Like Brian said, when anybody dies of pneumonia now in the Diddy era, kind of suspect of it, because it seems like pneumonia is one of them things that they just tell you if they don't really know what's going on or whatever, or want to cover up something. So, but man, it was a shock to hear, man. And I'm sure a lot of you probably pulled up a lot of those quotes that he said to people in conversations he's had to people over the years on, social media, YouTube, internet, whatever. But man, that was the reason why I played baseball, man. He was my favorite baseball player. So sad to, hear that he passed away.
100%. Rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I wish I could ignore it, but I don't know if you all have been watching. The news has absolutely gone insane lately. So earlier today up in Santa Cruz, we lost a quarter of a wharf. Just poof, there it goes. Crazy, out of the blue. Big waves took it away, right? In Florida, you got the ethics findings on Matt Gaetz getting paid, having paid tens of thousands of dollars for sex and drugs at least 20 times. And for those of you who have forgotten, he was one of the people who said that you should be drug tested if you wanted to get money from the state. And here's the man, pimping and hoeing.
Using state money to buy the drugs.
And using the state money to buy the drugs. And then last but not least, in the last, I think 5 hours, Trump is openly talking about whether or not he's going to try and take over Panama, and expand into Canada, and take over Greenland. And people are wondering if the man is serious. It's absolute insanity. And the man's not even president yet. He is literally front page news on the CNN right now as Trump is considering U.S. expansion. Can we stay in 24? 24 sucked. I had such high hopes for this year. And anyone who's asked me has told me 24 has sucked. And I would much rather it to 25.
Damn.
Crazy.
We ain't even there yet. All right. On that note, that's the Sports Counterpoints podcast. I guess we'll catch you next week in 2025. We're going to see.
Don't go to Santa Cruz.
Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. Catch y'all later. Peace.